Bottom line, if you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interests and fighting for you? I think the overwhelming answer is no.
Well, here we are back on the Young Turks. And as you can see, they're checking out a clip of Bernie Sanders ripping on the Democratic Party for completely abandoning their traditional base. Now, I haven't actually watched this clip, so let's watch it together. I have a feeling that Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks are going to have some interesting things to say about this. Let's check it out.
Bernie Sanders has entered the honey badger phase of his political career.
Yes.
And I've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for it. The American people have been waiting for it. So without further ado, let's watch.
You say you think the Democratic Party has, quote, abandoned the working class.
The working people of this country are extremely angry. They have a right to be angry.
Your statement was met with some sharp reaction as well.
But I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Bottom line, if you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interests and fighting for you? I think the overwhelming answer is no.
Correct. Well, Senator Bernie Sanders appears to be taking the Democratic Party's electoral losses pretty well. Obviously, I'm kidding, not taking it well. In fact, he is using this as an opportunity to say what needs to be said about the failures of the Democratic Party, the fact that they have indeed abandoned the working class, and he's having none of it. He's ready to call them out and do so aggressively and do so across multiple media platforms. Now, the heart of this conversation was this big controversy over the weekend. The Daily, which is the New York Times podcast, had a conversation with Nancy Pelosi. And in the context of that conversation, Pelosi was asked to share her thoughts or respond to a statement Bernie Sanders put out shortly after the presidential election, essentially stating that Democrats lost because they have abandoned the working class and they really need to get it together. So here's how Pelosi reacted to that message.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him, for what he stands for, but I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
So there you have it. Pelosi does not respect the fact that Sanders said that Democrats have abandoned working class families, but there has to be a reason why someone like Donald Trump can not only simply win the electoral college votes necessary to become the next president, but he won the popular vote. A Republican candidate hasn't done that since 2004. So what's going on here? And we're gonna get to Bernie's response to Nancy Pelosi in just a moment. But Cenk, what did you think about what Pelosi had to say there?
Yeah, well, look, Pelosi is not delusional. That's what you would think if you saw those comments. She represents one of the three wings of the Democratic Party, and that is the wing that Bernie Sanders is doing a frontal assault on here. And so I get why Nancy Pelosi is defending her position. Her position is corporate Democrats are awesome. We should siphon as many billions of dollars in donor money as we can, use it for our own power, fame, status, and wealth, and then give the American people 5 to 10% of what we promised them as a release valve so they don't get too angry as we continue to rob the place blind.
Wow, listen to Cenk Uygur just laying down the law. I have to admit, I agree 100% with what he just said. He's saying it calmly, rationally, and quite factually. And you could say the same for the Republican Party, by the way. You know, the whole political system in the United States is just madness as far as I'm concerned, looking at it from abroad. If you've watched my other videos, you know that I was born and raised in the United States, but I've been living in an as yet unnamed Western European country since 1990 and been living outside the US since 1988. So I've been away a long time. So it affords me the opportunity to look at American elections pretty dispassionately. Of course, I can't talk about it with my family because my entire family are just notorious libtards, it must be said. You know, that's being a bit rude perhaps. Democrats, liberals, leftists, progressives, all that stuff. So I do like looking at it, and the Young Turks, for all their faults, you know, I do think sometimes they come out with good stuff. Ana Kasparian in particular, of course, has been on a complete redemption arc for the past year or so. And listen to Cenk. Cenk being the voice of reason. Who would have thunk it?
So that's her position. So obviously when Bernie Sanders begins to point that out, she is aggrieved and she fights back. And the way that they fight back, of course, is radical, absurd, not a good Democrat, disappointing his colleagues, See, in the old ways, that was super effective. And like young people will not understand how industrialized the gaslighting was. That allowed that strategy to work. Now that the gaslighting has been interrupted by social media, they're in a world of hurt because when they go tisk, now, especially given the results of this election, people go, wait, your wing is the clown wing. Your wing lost to Donald Trump twice, nearly 3 times. So you have no leg to stand on. It's over. Anyone who listens to an establishment Democrat, I mean, I feel really sorry for you because you're never gonna win. It's a bunch of corrupt losers. Okay, so what are the other 2 wings? Real quick, and then we'll get back to this back and forth because there's a surprising twist here as an establishment Democrat seems to be switching sides. Is that really going to happen? So we'll get to that in a second. The other 2 wings are, there is unfortunately, well, I've kind of landed on a title, I kind of hate it, but it makes sense, which is the woke left, okay? Now the woke left, if they put in their women's rights, fighting racism, et cetera, that's not fair. The entire left wants to fight racism, sexism, protect women's rights, et cetera.
Yeah, the common sense fight against discrimination, ensuring that everyone has the opportunities that everyone else does, whether it comes to employment or being able to rent a place to live in. So everyone agrees on that. So you're making a differentiation between that and the left that goes further.
That's right. So when I'm referring to woke left, I don't mean lumping all those things in. No, I'm talking about the really extreme wing, and they don't hide it. They're very happy with it, and they defend the word woke, so it's all good, right? So because I'm trying to find a non-offensive word which they don't mind owning, right? Because I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just saying those are the folks who say Latinx and defund the police and crime's imaginary. And okay, there I know I did a little hyperbole, but only a little, right? And trans people should get to set WNBA policy and Olympic policy, et cetera. So that's the woke left, right? We're in neither one of those camps, if we're being honest, at least Ana and I. The TRT network is huge, and there's tons of hosts in all different wings of the Democratic Party and a bunch of independents, et cetera, right? So for us, we're in the 3rd wing, the populist left. So that's Bernie 2016 economic populism. So that is why it's great to have Dad back home.
Yes.
Okay.
It is. You're right.
So Bernie started working with the corporate wing, thinking it was going to get him results, and he got him some mild results from Biden. Having watched that whole interview, I think he's still way too soft on Biden. I think he was misled on Biden. I think Biden is still squarely in the corporate wing, 98% in the corporate wing.
Yeah, can I jump in on that? So in the context of this Meet the Press interview, Bernie was asked to just opine on the job that Biden has done. And he made it clear that Biden did some good things domestically, but also made it clear that he didn't agree with Biden's foreign policy. Now, look, I think that Bernie had influence over Biden's domestic economic policies. I think he would like to have had more influence.
All right, so there you have it. Listen to Cenk Uygur. I've never seen Cenk talk so calmly and rationally, especially in the wake of the thrashing the Democrats took at this last election, absolutely bodied by Donald Trump. And of course, as I was saying earlier, the criticisms that Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks levels at the corporate Democrats can absolutely be leveled at the corporate Republicans. I'm disgusted by the whole corporatization, the corporate capture of the 2 political parties in the United States. It's just legal corruption is what it is. And it's disgusting. I think a lot of people are disgusted with it. That's probably why there are so many independents. They have to I guess, declare for a party to vote in a primary. I believe that's how it works in the States. It's a very complicated system when you look at it from an outsider's point of view. But whatever, it's a 2-party system. That's the way it was designed, fair enough. So at the end of the day, you have to work within that system. Those are the rules. But it's been completely corrupted. It's been captured by corporations, captured by, legalized bribery in the form of lobbying, and by special interest and foreign interest. For example, Israel. Israel has extraordinary interest over the U.S. government and U.S. policy. So there you have it. As Cenk said that he and Ana, the Young Turks, he would consider themselves populist Democrats. Well, yeah, I don't consider myself a Democrat or Republican. I don't vote in American elections, but I would definitely be a populist and nationalist. Now, he would never call himself a nationalist. For him, that would be just a right-wing, horrible thing to say, I'm sure. But credit where it's due. I think they are pointing out things that need to be pointed out. And as I've said in several videos now, I hope the Democrats fail to take a close look in the mirror, just look deep into their soul and figure out where they went wrong. I hope they don't do that. I hope they continue pandering to what Cenk called the woke Democrats. I hope they attempt to go further with that. I hope they continue pushing this in the faces of ordinary people, because it will push ordinary people away from them. Because how can ordinary, decent Americans want that kind of life? Some do, but a lot more don't, obviously. So let me know what you think of all that, about Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian, their views of the Democrats, and why the Democrats got thrashed so resoundingly at this last election. In the meantime, of course, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It really helps me grow the channel and continue making content for you.